You've turned life into a game, even when nobody asked you to play. Think about it. Two friends start running together. At first, they're just exercising. A week later, they're secretly checking who runs farther. Someone buys a new phone, and suddenly everyone notices whose camera is better. Even standing in line becomes a race to find the fastest checkout. Somehow, your brain can turn almost anything into a competition. But why? Why would something as simple as walking, eating, working, or even posting a vacation photos suddenly feel like keeping score? It seems harmless until you realize your brain has been doing this for tens of thousands of years. Imagine waking up thousands of years ago. There are no cities, no money, no schools, no social media. Just a small group of people trying to survive. Food is limited, shelter is fragile, danger is everywhere. In that world, being average could be deadly. The strongest hunter ate first. The fastest runner escaped predators. The best storyteller attracted friends. Even being the funniest person around the fire had value because people remembered you. Every skill increased your chances of survival. And the moment one person became better at something, everyone else noticed. Because they had to. Your ancestors weren't comparing themselves for fun. They were comparing themselves to stay alive. But here's the strange part. The world changed much faster than your brain did. Today you probably won't starve because your co-worker bought a nicer car. You won't lose your shelter because someone has more followers. Yet your brain reacts as if those differences still matter. That's why seeing someone your age become successful can feel surprisingly uncomfortable. Not because you dislike them, because something ancient quietly asks a dangerous question. If they're moving ahead, where does that leave me? That feeling seems irrational until you realize your brain rarely measures success by absolute numbers. It measures distance. Imagine climbing a mountain. You finally reach a ledge after hours of effort. You feel proud. Then someone casually walks past you and keeps climbing. Nothing about your own achievement has changed, but somehow it suddenly feels smaller. Why? Because your brain wasn't only measuring the mountain, it was measuring your position on the mountain. And that changes everything. Scientists have found that people often care less about how much they have than where they stand compared to everyone around them. That sounds unbelievable. But look around. Would a salary feel as exciting if every friend earned twice as much? Would winning still feel special if everyone else also won? Your brain constantly asks a question you never hear out loud. Am I ahead or behind? It gets stranger. This comparison doesn't stop with money. It quietly sneaks into almost everything. Who's more attractive? Who's funnier? Who's healthier? Who's more productive? Who's traveling more? Who's raising smarter children? Who's happier? Even happiness becomes something people compete over. Think about social media. Millions of people upload moments that last only seconds. A perfect sunset, a finished workout, a vacation, a new house. Most people aren't trying to prove they're better. They're simply sharing their lives. But your brain doesn't see random moments. It builds a scoreboard. Without realizing it, you compare your ordinary Tuesday to someone else's best 5 seconds. And of course you lose, because you were never playing the same game. But that's only part of the story. Competition isn't always destructive. In fact, without it, civilization might look completely different. Imagine two neighboring villages thousands of years ago. One discovers a better spear. The other notices. Now they must improve too. One invents stronger tools. The other learns faster farming. Little by little, competition forces both groups to become smarter. The same thing happens today. Companies compete to build safer cars. Athletes compete to run faster. Scientists compete to solve diseases. Competition pushes people to create things they might never have attempted otherwise. It can unlock incredible progress. So if competition helps humanity move forward, why does it sometimes make us miserable? Because your brain struggles to know when the race is over. Thousands of years ago, most competitions had a finish line. You caught the animal. You won the fight. You built the shelter. The challenge ended. Today, many races never stop. Someone always has a bigger house. Someone always earns more. Someone always looks younger. Someone always travels farther. Your brain keeps waiting for the moment it can finally relax. But modern life rarely gives it one. So the race continues, day after day, year after year, and eventually something surprising happens. People begin competing without anyone else participating. Have you ever cleaned your house before guests arrived? Worked harder because a coworker stayed late? Bought something you didn't really need because everyone else seemed to have one? Nobody forced you, yet it felt necessary, because the competition had moved inside your own head. And this is where it becomes truly fascinating. Your brain doesn't actually want to defeat everyone. It wants certainty. Being ahead feels like proof that you're safe, proof that you're valuable, proof that you belong. The competition itself is often just a shortcut your brain uses to answer a much deeper question. Do I matter? Once you see that, ordinary moments begin to look completely different. The expensive watch, the perfect lawn, the luxury vacation, the endless overtime, sometimes they're not really about the object at all. They're silent attempts to answer a question your ancestors carried for thousands of generations. Am I enough? If you're enjoying uncovering the hidden psychology behind everyday life, subscribe, because mysteries like this are hiding inside almost everything your brain does. But here's the biggest surprise of all. Not every competition is against other people. Some of the healthiest people compete only against yesterday's version of themselves. They exercise to become stronger than last month. They learn because they know more than last year. They build because today's work is better than yesterday's. The scoreboard never disappears. It simply changes direction. And that tiny shift changes everything. Because when your only opponent is your past self, someone else's success no longer steals your happiness. It becomes proof that improvement is possible. Your ancestors evolved to watch everyone around them. But you have something they never had. The ability to choose which race is worth running. Tomorrow your brain will quietly compare you to someone again. It will happen before you even notice. A stranger's car, a friend's promotion, someone else's perfect photo. For a split second, your ancient instincts will whisper that you're falling behind. But now you'll know something they don't. The race was never built by the modern world. It began thousands of years ago inside a brain that only wanted to survive. And perhaps the greatest competition you'll ever win is the one where you stop trying to beat everyone else. There are countless hidden instincts like this, shaping every decision you make. Subscribe if you want to keep uncovering the mysteries your own brain has been hiding from you all along.